Okay, call the meeting to order. City Council meets on Thursday, May 13, 2021 at 7 p.m. remotely to hold its regular meeting for the purpose of discussing any and all business pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Salem City Council will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information of the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the city's website at salem.com. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the city's website an audio video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch, listen, or provide comment, if applicable during the meeting, may do so by following the link, the webinar link available on salem.com. You can also go to the website, zoom.us/join, enter meeting webinar ID 857-4192-4868, followed by the meeting password as provided on the agenda. You can dial in at a toll-free number 877-853-5257 or 888-475-4499. When prompted, enter the meeting webinar ID. Again, that's 857-4192-4868 and follow the instructions to join the meeting. For those dialing in, you may press *9 to raise your hand to speak if you are signed up for public testimony. This meeting is being broadcast live on SATV on channel 22 and also live on Facebook. Members of the public wishing to speak on agenda items must follow the how do you sign up for public testimony outline the agenda. If wishing to speak during public hearings designated on the agenda, you may raise your hand. Regular meeting of the City Council is being held remotely on Thursday, May 13, 2021 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on May 11th, 2021 at 1:46 p.m. This meeting is being recorded, is live on SATV and on Facebook. Councilors absent, none. Council President Madore presided. Councilor Sargent moved to dispense with the reading of the record of previous meeting. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. Those opposed, seeing none, the mayor carries. President Madore requests that everyone please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Presniewski. Councilor Presniewski, are you muted?
Sorry, I was. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. First, we have public testimony. We only have one member of the public signed up, Mr. Jeff Cohen. Madam City Clerk, you're muted. But Jeff, Mr. Cohen, please go ahead.
I unmuted you. Name and address of the record, please.
My name is Jeff Cohen. I reside at 12 Hancock Street in Salem. I'm Vice Chair of Salem Sustainability, Energy, and Resiliency Committee. It's good to see Daniel and Rob of Mass Development here because I'm speaking in support of the PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. Massachusetts is too late to this party. Many states have already adopted this program, and over 40 communities in Massachusetts have already started with the program. Salem's approach to mitigating the climate crisis, though, has taken advantage of programs such as Solarize, Greening Trees, and the Municipal Aggregation Program, has been far too incremental. PACE enables commercial properties, multifamilies, 5 units or more, and properties owned by nonprofits to utilize favorable long-term financing that would normally not be available to them. And lenders dig this because the betterment assessments that follow the property make it easier for them to lend the money. It enables them to do energy efficiency upgrades, renewable energy projects, and there is no burden to Salem's taxpayers. I'm expecting the council to not only pass this unanimously, but hope every one of the 11 councilors will promote this vigorously, as it will only do good for Salem and our environment and our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. We appreciate you coming out tonight to provide testimony. Next, we have hearings.
Sorry. We have continued from February 11th, 2021 meeting, the order from Verizon Wireless to install telecommunications on Bridge Street.
Do we have anyone appearing in favor? Or actually, we're moving this to the next meeting.
Councilor Riccardi.
All right, Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to keep the public hearing open until June 10th, 2020, due to continued discussions with the Design Review Board.
Councilor Riccardi moves to refer the matter until June 10, 2021, due to continued discussions with the Design Review Board. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Councilor Marcello.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth.
Yes.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the matter of the hearing, we have 11 councilor voting, 11 affirmative, none to negative. The matter carries. More hearings.
We have an order from Comcast to install conduits on First Street.
Any members of the public appearing in favor?
Dave, if you're on, could you raise your hand, please?
David Gilbert?
No, Llewellyn.
Oh, I don't see him.
I don't see him either. Well, I don't see any call from him. Well, I don't know if anybody else, but we can always continue and go back if he's trying to still get on or anything, and if not, we can continue to the next meeting. It's up to you.
All right, anybody appearing in opposition? Seeing none, Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we keep the public hearing open until, I'm not sure when, the next meeting? May 27th?
May 27th? All right. Councilor Marcello moves to keep the public hearing until the next regular meeting on May 27th. All those in favor? See them in hands. All those opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Appointments and reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of Anna Friedman to the position of City of Salem Finance Director / Auditor with a term to expire on June 31st, 2023.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for a confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Hapworth moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
I've heard great things about Ms. Friedman and just want to thank her for her willingness to serve.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Councilor Marcello.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth.
Yes.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the appointment of Anna Friedman, we have 11 counselors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Counselor Hapworth, should we suspend the rules? Do we do that for department heads? Yep, Counselor Hapworth.
I'd like to move to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Friedman to speak.
Counselor Hapworth moves to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Friedman to address the council if she so chooses.
Anna, I unmuted you, so if you like to, where'd you go?
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be joining the team here in Salem, and I am thrilled to be working with everyone, and I'm just very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Welcome, thank you. Congrats. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of Amanda Chiancola to the position of Assistant Planning Director with the term to expire January 31st, 2022.
Counselor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Counselor Hapworth moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. I think that for me and for many of us, Amanda's maybe the best resource we've had, at least for me as a new counselor, just with everything we've had going on, the complexities and the issues. I've reached out to Amanda consistently. She's very fast to get back. I can't imagine what her workload looks like or what, or how she prepares for things the way that she does. But I just want to recognize how lucky we are to have her in the city of Salem as a resource for all of us.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Torio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Present.
Counselor Medora.
Yes. On the appointment of Amanda Chiancola, we have 11 counselors voting, 10 affirmative, 1 present. The matter carries. None negative. Further appointments and reappointments.
Do you want to suspend the rules?
Oh, sorry. Counselor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Chiancola to address the council.
Counselor Hapworth moves to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Chiancola to address the council if she so chooses. Amanda.
Hi there. I just want to say thank you so much. I think you've all gotten to know me over the past few years as the housing planner, and I feel really proud and passionate of that work. But as you're aware, the city has so many other important planning initiatives underway, and in addition to housing. So I'm just thrilled to have the opportunity to expand out, continue to work on housing, plus so much more, from community development block grant to supporting my colleagues with the land use boards, all the stuff in between. I'm honored, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Well deserved. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of Matt Vino to the Salem Contributory Retirement Board with a term to expire March 24th, 2022.
Counselor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for a confirmation by roll call vote.
Counselor Hapworth moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. Just thank Mr. Vino for his previous service and his commitment to continue to serve. I think we're lucky to have Matt in our community.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Torio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
And Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
Counselor Medora.
Yes. On the appointment of Matt Vino, we have 11 counselors voting, 11 affirmative, 9 negative, the matter carries. Counselor Hapworth.
I'd like to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Vino to address the council.
Counselor Hapworth Move to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Vino to address the council. Seeing no objection, Mr. Vino.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam President, and thank you to my all my friends on the Salem City Council. Thank you for your service to the city. I know how much work that can be, but there are a lot of us out here who appreciate all that you do. I'm happy to have the opportunity to serve the city in this new and different way, having served prior on the redevelopment authority and the planning board and probably one or two others that I'm forgetting, but really look forward to the opportunity. This is an issue that's a passion of mine. So thank you for all your support. It is much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Further appointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Rachel Blasdell to the position of Assistant Treasurer with a term to expire January 31st, 2023.
Councillor Hapworth. Councillor Hapworth.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Would you like to revise that motion, Councillor?
I'm sorry. Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be held under the rules until the next meeting.
Councillor Howard moved that this be held under the rules. All those in favor? I see 10 hands. Those opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Further appointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Milo Martinez to Historical Commission with a term to expire April 11th, 2022.
Councillor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move this be held under the rules until the next meeting.
Councillor Hapworth moved that this be held under the rules. All those in favor? I see 10 hands. All those opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Councillor Dibble, you're having issues with your video?
Yes, I am, but I raised my hand electronically.
Okay, that works. That was 11 hands raised. The matter carries. Further appointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Barbara Soroyce to the Beautification Committee for a term to expire May 24th, 2024.
Councillor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councillor Terrio moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. Barbara does a terrific job, as does the entire Beautification Committee of dressing up the city. So I really appreciate her work.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councillor Torrio.
Yes.
Councillor Sargent.
Yes.
Councillor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councillor Presnowski.
Yes.
Councillor Marcillo.
Yes.
Councillor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councillor Hapworth.
Yes.
Councillor Flynn.
Yes.
Councillor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councillor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councillor Madore.
Yes. On the reappointment of Barbara Soroyce, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Further reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Sabita Javier to serve as a constable with a term to expire April 26, 2024.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be received and filed.
Councilor Marcillo moved that this be received and filed. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Communications from the mayor.
We have an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to outdoor cooking appliances, heating and equipment, and fireplaces.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that I move for adoption, first passage by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcillo, would you like to read the ordinance?
Oh, do you want me to read the whole thing? Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Move to waive the reading.
Thank you.
Councilor Marcillo moves for adoption by first pass. Councilor Marcillo moves for first passage by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is to allow fire pits, open flames using solid fuel on Winter Island only. When the restrictions were put in place in 2019, they neglected to recognize that campers like to build fires, and so they've fixed up the language to allow that to happen at Winter Island with restrictions.
Thank
And
you.
I
Any further
believe-
discussion?
Are there any members of the fire department here to answer questions also?
I believe the acting chief is here. If anybody would like to suspend the rules.
And also, David Gilbert from Winter Island is here as well, but Chief Dion's here.
I'll move to suspend the rules to
Councilor
allow them to speak.
Councilor Marcelo moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, acting chief Dion.
Good evening, councilors. I submitted the code of ordinance change. The initial ordinance change was well-intended. There's just no way to delineate safe areas to have fires in the city of Salem, with the exception of Winter Island. It's a campground. It's very well run, and I believe that Dave Gilbert and his staff could properly manage small campfires within the campsites only on Winter Island. Therefore, I submitted this ordinance. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Is there anything you'd like to add? Seeing none. Councilor DeVol, you had.
Dave,
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
can hear you, Dave.
All right. Okay, great.
We have a little feedback, Dave.
Yeah, oh, sorry about that.
Gotta turn the television off.
Yeah, can you turn it off? Can you hear me? God.
If you have the meeting on a computer, you have to mute the computer or the TV.
Hold on. How about now?
Dave, are you under Winter Island as well as Dave? One would make the difference.
So this is not a public hearing, this portion, so the members of the public cannot raise your hand unless we suspend the rules. And we're not sure who is under the username Winter Island. So if you would like to change your username, that would be helpful.
That should be David.
Is that David?
Yeah, I don't know. He might have signed on two, so I don't know if the other one would work better. I'm not sure. Dave, you still there? Yes. Yeah, he's unmuted, so he should be allowed to talk.
All right, Councilor DeVol.
Thank you, Madam President. I have camped at Winter Island Park probably 40 or 50 times. And I'm in support of this. I think it was a mistake that when we passed this originally, and there's kind of an oversight. I have a fire pit in my backyard and I understand that neighbors are close and I don't use that any longer. But having fires at Winter Island makes sense. And I was going to ask a question through you to our Winter Island manager, Dave Gilbert, who does a great job down there. What fire protections he would require as part of his if we were to allow this, what fire protections would he allow? I taught fire prevention to the Boy Scouts here in Salem in Troop 83 for some 15 years. And we always had a rule of 2 buckets of water out near the fire, full of water before the fire was lit. I just want to hear something like that coming from Dave so that the tent next door or something else might be protected should they require buckets of water before each fire is lit as well. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Gilbert, let's give this another try.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, thanks. I apologize for that. I do have trouble with my laptop. It doesn't have audio, so I was logged on on 2 accounts like you figured out.
Yeah.
All right. So I did hear Acting Chief Dion's support of the ordinance, and I fully agree and concur. We can support this. I feel confident that my staff and I can enforce the restrictions that are in place, and I'm really hopeful that this ordinance gets passed. I'd be happy to answer any questions if any councilors have any.
Yes, Mr. Gilbert, Councilor Dibble just asked a question about fire prevention. Would you like him to repeat it?
Yes, please. I missed that as I was logging out of my other account.
Sure, Councilor Dibble.
I'd be happy to, Madam President. Mr. Gilbert, I think you do a phenomenal job down there at Winter Island. My wife just had a wonderful baby shower in your facility, and she was more than pleased with everything you did down there. As I said earlier, I've camped at Winter Island dozens and dozens of times, maybe 100 times. I don't know. It's a lot with the Boy Scouts, etc. I've taught fire prevention to our scouts, that there'd be 2 buckets of water, be full of water before the fire is lit. I just wanted to hear, what fire preventions do you have in place that you require the campers to follow before they light such a fire as well?
Okay, thank you, Councilor. First of all, under the current rules in place at this time, a lot of you may already realize we have pedestal grills in place on the tent sites. We don't have any type of pedestal grills currently in place on any of the RV sites. The intention of the pedestal grills for the tent campers is to provide an appliance so they could cook on. The intention for those appliances to be burning coal, or charcoal, I should say, not hard wood or kiln-dried, insect-free wood, like the fire pits would offer. A little different type of experience, more of a traditional camping. So what we do is we continuously monitor and we restrict the hours that the fires can be in place, but it's a little bit, it's for cooking, basically. So the hours of operation that is currently, that we shut the fires down is 10 p.m. for these fire pits. Fires need to be out at 10 p.m. That's our camping quiet hours. We don't specifically require that they have buckets of water on site, although it's a great idea. The area, Councilor, I know you're referring to is the group camping area, the igloo, which is intended for large groups, Boy Scouts, but Girl Scouts, that type of a group, and it works great for that. It's in a very open area, and we encourage buckets, although we don't specifically require it in any rules.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam President.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Dave, I'm wondering if you'd simply add, or be willing to add, a simple rule that said, 1 5-gallon bucket be filled before the fire is lit, no matter where the fire is on Winter Island.
I'd be happy to do that. I could. That seems reasonable. I could do that. I don't think we need the chief's concurrence on that. It seems like a safety precaution that most people would be happy to follow in order to have these campfires.
I think the chief was a fine scout back in his day as well, so I think he might agree. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I went down and spoke to Mr. Gilbert yesterday when I went down to check on they were selling passes. I went around yesterday and I went to check. And we did have a conversation, and Dave, I know, was very supportive of this for the people who come and utilize the campground for fires. And Dave, the only other thing I would suggest is I know the guys drive around that golf cart, maybe making sure that the fire extinguisher on the golf cart's also up to date. Probably be a big help. So
that's a great idea, Councilor. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. Since I'm a member of the fire department and this was submitted through my department, I'm going to have to recuse myself for a vote.
Councilor Flynn, I don't believe that's necessary because it does not create a financial interest. But if you want to, okay.
No, that's fine. As long as there's no issue with that, I'd be glad to support this. Thank you.
Just want to double check with Madam City Clerk. Is that okay?
I would concur that there's no financial interest in terms of conflict of interest.
Okay. Great. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes. On adoption of the ordinance for first passage, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none to negative, the matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the mayor is hereby authorized on behalf of the city of Salem to execute perpetual easements to Sci-Fi Network Salem LLC to allow certain encroachments at the Bridge Street Traffic Circle and 77 Wilson Street as identified on the attached plans prepared by High Point Survey and Geospatial data, which plans, I don't have the plans attached. Final plans and easements shall be in a form approved by the city solicitor.
Councilor Marcelo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcelo moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for suspension of the rules to allow representatives from Sci-Fi and others to answer any questions from the City Council.
Councilor Marcelo moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection. Who am I calling on first? Mr. Burdorf.
Madam President, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thanks for having us. I would like to go over the easements in detail. If you have questions about them, I can pull them up on my screen and share that with you. But I think after talking with Public Works, Deb Duhamel at Public Works, I think your main concern is that the easement at the high school will be used for construction of conduits, which is not the case.
So if further discussion is needed, I would prefer that this be referred to committee to allow for discussion. I will defer to the will of the body on this. Any questions or comments for Mr. Burdorf? Councilor Marcelo.
Thank you, Madam President. I think that he's referring to a question that I had sent in to Ms. Duhamel, and it was just trying to decipher what's on the map, since it's hard to read it in this format. And so my only question to her, and I think what he's referring to, is that it shows a path along the driveway at the high school to go from Wilson Street over to where the hut is going to be. And that's only for an easement for the maintenance, for the trucks to create, to set up the hut. There's no digging involved or anything like that. And that was my only question. So I don't have any issues right now for this project.
Thank you. Any further discussion from councilors? Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I've had many people up in Ward 4 asking about this and getting this project started. So I'd really like to see this move forward and not go to committee. They've been waiting a long time for this, a couple of years now. And I'd like to see this finally move forward, to be honest with you. No point in dragging this on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Churio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also wanted to echo that and say I have no issues with the, with the easements. These locations were worked out. The company needs access to them in order to do their construction work, provide services, and provide ongoing access and maintenance as needed. So, and these are public properties, so, it's necessary on our part. I have no issue here, and I look forward to seeing those trenches starting to get dug because they're really skinny.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes. On the order Relative to easements to Sci-Fi Networks, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we go out of order to, page 18 to committee reports.
Councilor Riccardi. Can you move? Yep. Councilor Riccardi moves to take matters out of orders, page 18, committee reports. Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Madam President. I offer the following report. Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom the matter was referred, the petition from Steve Kapantis to address the city's compliance to ADA law and the recently released transition report, has considered said matter and would remain in committee. And I move to accept the report.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all opposed. Mayor carries. On adoption of the recommendation under discussion, Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. We had another great PHSC meeting with members from the city, Jenna Ide, as well as our new ADA coordinator intern, Alyssa, and they demoed for the committee the SMART Tracker, which is basically a reporting system that the city and all departments can now use to report on and track the ADA items that we need to complete and correct basically within the city. It was something that was demoed to the Commission on Disabilities a few months ago, and I wanted to make sure that the PHSC committee and the committee of the whole was able to view this as well. We did also hear from Mr. Kapantis during the meeting, who thanked the city for the work that's being done and feels that we are definitely, it's a long road. It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint, to get these items fixed. The city has been around for a long time, and we have the long road ahead of us to fix these items, but we are moving forward, and we have a good plan to get those items completed.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption of recommendation, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all opposed. Seeing none, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom the matter was referred, the meeting with the Friends of the Common to discuss plans and fundraising for the maintenance and repair of the interior, has considered said matter and would recommend the presentation be received and filed.
On adoption of acceptance of the report, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all opposed. The matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. We met with the Friends of Salem Commons, Susan Moulton, Liz Aberg, Marianne Curtin, Lizzie Harrington, and they were able to present to us the report that they had completed and provided background to funding that they have received and are continuing to seek out to make improvements on the Salem Common, one of our parks that many have spoke to as a jewel of the city, that is definitely a park that is enjoyed by all. We also had members from the city of Salem, Jenna Ide, Ray Jordan, to comment on projects that are in flight, as well as projects that are planned for improvements within the city. And we were shared from the Friends of Salem Common the report that was completed, a planning document, which we will post and share as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on the substance of report, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all opposed. The matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom the matter of the PACE resolution was considered said matter and would recommend adoption.
On substance of the report, all those in favor? I see 11 hands. All is opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. On adoption of recommendation by roll call vote, Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. We had another great PHSE meeting. And also I'd like to acknowledge that we do have members from Mass Development here tonight in case there are further questions, Rob Anderson and Daniel Morais. Thank you for joining us. We had a great conversation about the PACE program that, as Mr. Cohen spoke at the beginning of this meeting, is a new program passed by Mass legislation that allows for some creative funding to have energy efficient improvements done on commercial properties. The committee voted all in favor to vote for recommendation for the passage of this resolution.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor DeBoer.
Thank you, Madam President. This is a really important one that I'm going to be supporting in full here tonight, and hopefully we all pass this. I want to thank Mr. Cohen for speaking up tonight, as he passionately does on all things environmental. He was on the money here, but he said that it was too late. I have to disagree with him. I think we're way late. The city of Salem is way late in this process, but it's not too late. So this is something we should pass and actively recruit and do more environmental things throughout the whole city. So this is something I'm supporting fully, but it's not too late. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If any members of the body has questions, we have staff from Mass Development available here to answer them. They stayed all this time. Or we can have a member of the body suspend the rules for them to make a brief statement.
I would like to.
So moved. I moved to suspend the rules to allow them to make a brief statement relative to this program. I think we all understand it because we've been in the meetings, but I think that a brief statement to understand, so the public has an understanding what we're going to pass. I think that would be helpful.
Councilor McCarthy moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Rob, you want to go, or Dan?
Hi, Madam Councilor. Yes, I'd love to make a statement. So PACE allows commercial property owners to finance energy and efficiency improvements via a betterment assessment on their tax bill. It's basically allowing your commercial property owners to finance these improvements and giving them a third option rather than coming out of pocket with cash, maybe going to a bank loan that has constrictive terms, allowing PACE, which has longer payback periods, allows for a much more cash-friendly way to pay for these betterment, pay for these energy efficiency improvements through a betterment assessment. And you're allowing your commercial property owners, as I said, to use that tool.
Thank you, Dan. Rob, would you like to make a brief statement?
This is a great economic development tool for the retention of businesses and the recruitment as well, because there are lots of businesses out there that appreciate communities that are making the commitment long-term to the environment. So not only does it help the community and the environment, but also helps from business recruitment as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to join us tonight. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Councilor Marcello?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Hepworth?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
And Councilor Madore?
Yes. On adoption of the PACE resolution, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none in negative. The matter carries. Thank you. Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we go back to page 11.
Counselor Cardy moved that we return to the regular order on page 11. Communications from the mayor.
We have a resolution proclaiming Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in Salem.
Counselor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. Whereas Salem is a community that is welcoming and inclusive of people of all ethnicities, backgrounds, races, and identities, and all its residents deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, compassion, and fairness. And whereas close to 1,500 Salem residents are Asian American or of Pacific Island heritage, including first responders, teachers, tradespeople, business owners, professionals, and community leaders. And whereas across our nation, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have vastly contributed to our country's economy, culture, education, government, arts, literature, science, and technological achievements and advancement, despite numerous institutional and systemic injustices. And whereas celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander heritage in May was first established in the United States in 1978 by a joint congressional resolution. And whereas since March 2020, acts of violence and discrimination against Asian Americans have increased dramatically across the nation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of Salem do hereby declare the month of May for this year and for all years henceforth to be Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the city of Salem, Massachusetts, and encourage all residents to commit themselves to celebrating the special contributions, history, and heritage of our Asian American and Pacific Islander residents, and to explore the many resources available at asianpacificheritage.gov, and be it further resolved that Mayor and City Council of Salem condemn all acts of violence, discrimination, and injustice directed towards Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and reaffirm that racism in any form and directed toward any group of people has no place in Salem. And I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcillo moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution celebrating AAPI Heritage Month is an important follow-up to the Council's recent resolution condemning acts of violence against the AAPI community in the wake of the pandemic. As the resolution states, Salem is lucky to have 1,500 residents who are Asian American or of Pacific Island heritage. I hope that everyone will take a few minutes to learn about AAPI history and culture to better appreciate their contributions to our nation. A great starting point is the website specified in the resolution. And thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Dibble, did you have your hand raised or that was from before?
No, it's not raised.
It's raised on my screen, but that's okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please. Oh, sorry, Councilor McCarthy.
No, I was recognizing, Council Dominguez had his hand up.
Oh, Councilor Dominguez, go
Yes,
ahead.
briefly, Madam President, thank you so much. I just wanted to congratulate and, also agree that this is a great opportunity for us to celebrate every culture here in Salem. This is basically who we are, and I'm very happy to see that new resolution on proclamation coming in front of us, and I'm happily support that and embrace all of these brothers and sisters coming from this heritage. I think this is great. So I just want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Hepworth?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
And Councilor Madore?
Yes. On adoption of the resolution, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor. Councilor Marcelo. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We have a resolution proclaiming Mental Health Awareness Month in Salem.
Councilor Marcelo.
Thank you, Madam President. Whereas mental health is essential to our overall health, and the importance of attending to mental health has become even more pronounced during the COVID-19 pandemic, which has both exacerbated mental health challenges and imposed new barriers to treatment. And whereas nearly 1 in 5 Americans, which means between 8,000 and 9,000 Salem residents, live with a mental health condition or challenge, many of whom may face stigmas or even discrimination as a result. And whereas mental health challenges have grown substantially, especially among our youth and communities of color, and within the LGBTQI+ population within recent years, and whereas people living with mental health conditions are due our compassion, respect, understanding, and support as their friends, families, and neighbors, as well as our commitment that they can safely and affordably access quality, evidence-based mental health care services. And whereas Salem has been a leader in prioritizing support for mental health care, including through our Salem, Our Kids initiative, to bolster social and emotional supports for Salem children, the expansion of mental health, psychiatric, and behavioral health services at Salem Hospital, and the addition of 2011 of a mental health clinician at the Salem Police Department, which will be expanded to additional clinicians in the coming year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of Salem do hereby declare the month of May for this year and all years henceforth to be Mental Health Awareness Month in the city of Salem, Massachusetts, and encourage all residents to commit themselves to caring for and respecting those in our community who live with mental health conditions, increasing awareness and understanding of mental health care in general, and supporting efforts to improve access to appropriate mental health services for those in need of such services. And I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcelo moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This past year has placed mental health in the spotlight. Social isolation coupled with unmet medical needs has resulted in increased anxiety and depression in people of all ages. Using our platforms to encourage residents to reach out for help if needed, provide support to others who are struggling, and simply to recognize that mental health issues are real is more important than ever today. So I fully support this resolution.
Any further discussion? Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to comment. I also appreciate this resolution. For the past 10 months, I've had the pleasure of being able to serve on the Race Equity Task Force and as the chair of the subcommittee regarding healthcare. And this topic has come up basically every time we talk. And it's especially, as Councilor Marcelo just pointed out, very prevalent over this past year. And it hits the members of our community in a way that is not often always visible. So to be able to make these proclamations and show what we can do and what we are doing as a city to help, I think is very important. Keeping this up on the forefront and making sure that it is a topic that should not have a stigma and should be important and should be talked about out in the open, and that the resources that we have should be available to everyone. So I fully support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Madam President. I just well said by the good Councilor Riccardi. Most of the comment that I wanted to say, I just want to say that even though sometimes we don't see it, sometimes it's very close. It's very close to me in my family members. I have some incidents, and I think this is a great proclamation that we also have to support. I support this completely, and I looking forward to see more actions that we can take as a government, so we can provide some help for the most needed one in this area, which is big, it's growing more and more. And like I say, it's invisible, but it's nearby. It's nearby anyone also. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Counselor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. As a past liaison to the Commission on Disabilities, and I was employed decades ago by the City of Salem as a senior planner, but I was also charged with as the handicap coordinator for the city. This one, beyond that, this one hits close to me and my family directly. It's a personal issue. We've had issues. My sister-in-law was murdered this past year. COVID has caused a lot of issues in so many people, in our children, in our school systems, with everyday adults, with all sorts of people. So this is a good thing, but it should not just be for this 1 month. We should be helping these people throughout the whole year and paying attention to it throughout the entire whole year, especially now during a pandemic. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Counselor Sargent, if you could assume the chair.
I'm assuming the chair. Thank you. Chair calls on Ward 2 Councilor Medora.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since the resolution is calling for awareness, I would like to share my own story around mental health. This is placing myself in a moment of vulnerability, but I think that we need to be normalizing our discussions around mental health. I would like to share that I'm a regular, I receive regular therapy with my counselor. I also take regular medication to manage my anxiety and depression, and it has helped me tremendously. And I think it's important that we talk about these issues openly so the stigma can be minimized or ideally eliminated. And all of my fellow colleagues have talked about the invisibility of this issue, and I cannot agree more. And it's very important that mental health is as important as physical health, and that we are able to share our pain and feel that we're not alone in our suffering. And I'm not saying this to attract sympathy or bring attention on myself, but I think it's important that while I have the platform for the next 7 months or so, and that I'm in a position of leadership, that mental health does not discriminate. Anybody can suffer from mental health issues, and I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam President. Please assume the chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Torio?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi?
Yes.
Counselor Presnowski?
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth?
Yes.
Counselor Flynn?
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble? Counselor Dibble?
Sorry, yes.
Counselor Medora?
Yes. On the adoption of the resolution, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative, the mayor carries. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. City Council, City of Salem, May 13th, 2021, order that the fiscal year 2021 monthly February 2021 report be received and filed. We're catching up on these, and I move for adoption.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All opposed, seeing none, the mayor carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. In the year 2021, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones limited time, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, amending Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones limited time is hereby amended by adding the following. Orange Street, 1 handicap parking spot to be added in front of number 44 Orange Street for a distance of 20 feet. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter, and I move for adoption by first passage by roll call vote.
Councilor Riccardi moves for adoption for first passage by roll call vote. Under discussion.
No discussion needed.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Victoria,
Yes.
Council Sergeant,
Yes.
Hardy,
Yes.
Council Presnewski,
Yes.
Council Masillo,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes. On the ordinance to amend traffic ordinance, we have 11 councilors voting for adoption. For first passage of 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative, the matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered that the parking rates for the locations identified below shall be $1 per hour. Ford Avenue parking meter zones established southerly side beginning at Bayview for a distance of 590 feet. 2-hour parking April 1st to October 31st, Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I move for adoption.
Councilor McCarthy moves for adoption. Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. There's a big, long ordinance relative to parking in and around the Willows. And this ordinance just basically reaffirms what's already there and makes what's on the books correct. It doesn't, the only thing that's really being changed, it doesn't change the residential parking along Ford Avenue still stays the same. The non-residential parking on the other side, closest to the park, stays the same. The only thing that changes is last year during the pandemic, we tried some 15-minute zones in some of the parking meter spots to allow the businesses that were able to operate last year to have drive-up pickup for takeout. Those seem to work really well, and so we're going to make those part of the ordinance. We're going to change in some of those spots. I'm in favor, but we're also creating a drop-off, drop-off zone over by the Clam Shack on Restaurant Row in order to allow people to be able to unload their cars and then go park someplace else. Currently, there's a large I'm going to take some of the motorcycle parking that's designated over there and turn that into a drop zone. There's a lot of changes that have been talked about with the Park and Rec Commission at a bunch of their meetings, a bunch of the Willow stakeholders group with regards to some of the work that's going to be done to enhance the parking area. I'm all in favor of everything here except for one thing. I'd like to make it, if I could, Madam President, is just to amend the change of the rate. I just can't right now. I had a conversation with the mayor the other day. I just don't. I mean, I'm very comfortable with everything they're trying to do with regards to the creation of the drop zones and everything else I just talked about, but right now, as we're just coming out of a pandemic. Some of the businesses last year weren't even allowed to open because of the COVID rules. And with some of the ongoing construction that's going to be going down on there, parking is going to be at a premium. And I just don't think I don't think now is the time to be raising the rate. I think that the rate should stay as it is currently in effect, and that this $1 per hour should go into effect as of April 1st, 2022. So that would be my amendment to this motion. Other than that, I agree with everything else that's in it.
I like to second
it.
Councilor McCarthy moves to amend the order to include 2022, just a year.
Just with regards to the raising of the rate, this has been an ongoing discussion. Just for clarification, all the money that's raised at the meters goes into a revolving fund that goes right back into the park. Last year we experienced, even though we didn't have a lot of the events that we typically have that would be down in the park with like the Jazz Festival and so many others, we did see a large uptick in people that utilize the park was, but it was a kind of a changing population, and the fact that they came and it wasn't like mom and dad were bringing the kids down to grab a chop suey sandwich or some popcorn and get an ice cream and play some arcade games and then leaving. We saw a definite change because some of those businesses weren't open. People were coming and spending a large amount of time in the park, and that resulted in a lot more costs and upkeep because there was people were coming to, have a picnic lunch and stay, and they were just producing a larger volume of trash, and with all the COVID protocols around cleaning the bathrooms, it was just the operational aspect of the park really went up last year. And but the money directly goes from the meters back into the operational costs of the park, and the work that the Park and Rec department is authorizing to be done in some of the parking areas that we refer to it as the Hill, which is adjacent to the basketball court and the tennis courts. The tennis courts are going to be redone. They're going to revamp the parking up on the Hill, and those monies are going to have, there's going to be some kiosks or meters in there as well. But all those monies, that's controlled by Park and Rec. They set those rates. But where these metered spots that are on the street in front of the businesses, that's a city street that's not part of the park. That's why the council sets those rates, and that's why I feel that right now, even though we've worked very hard with the Park and Rec Commission and some of the stakeholder groups to understand that those monies generated go directly back to the park. I just think that this year is not the year to be raising the rates, and I would just hope that everyone would support me on that and understand that. It's no disrespect to the Park and Rec Commission and/or the working groups. I understand that we all want to reinvest in that park, and I'm working with the mayor to come up with some different ways we might be able to do that aside from this parking meter revenue money. But all that money does go back into the park, just for clarification.
Thank you. So Councilor McCarthy, your amendment is to add the effective year to 2022.
For the increase.
But everything stays the same.
For the increase, but everything else in the order with regards to the zones they're creating, all that can go into effect.
Okay, so just this particular order, you would like to add effective year as 2022?
Just for the increase up to the dollar.
Just to the increase to the dollar, okay. Seconded by Councilor Dominguez. Under discussion, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Just for clarification, so we have two pieces here. We have the order and the ordinance change. So for the order will be amended to have an effective date of 4/1/22, and then the ordinance itself doesn't have any changes proposed.
Understood.
I just wanted to make that clear and make for my own head as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, President. I'm just curious, what is the rate per hour as it is now?
It's 25 cents, I believe.
Per hour?
Per hour.
Per hour.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further? Oh, Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I did speak to some people. People reached out to me about this. I think we should leave it at 25 cents an hour. There's two issues. One, people were affected by COVID. I don't think we should be increasing any fees this year or next year. And I'm also concerned about the businesses down there. They've taken such a hit over this year. I'd hate to see anyone avoid the Willows, whether it be next year or the year after, thinking it's too expensive to go down there to grab a popcorn or a chop suey sandwich or whatever, play some games. I think we're best just leaving it at 25 cents. And also regarding this, to make sure that any work is not done in the areas in front of the restaurants, at least till the off season. Again, they've taken such a hit over the year. I just want to make sure with the scheduling of any work done in front of those restaurants that it's not done until the off season, preferably maybe next November or later. I'm not sure if the Ward 1 councilor has any information on that section of the project or not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
If I may,
Yep,
thank you.
go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. There's no proposed work to go in front of the businesses along down the line, so to speak. The meters there, some of those meters, some of them will be, some of the spots will be redone just to, last year they put temporary hangings on some of the meters and whatnot to indicate 15-minute drop zones. They're going to formalize those, so there'll be a few meter heads taken out and some signage, some increased signage, and there'll be some restriping, but there'll be no major construction with regard to that. I'll make sure that they do that first of the week as opposed to Thursday, Friday, Saturday type days. No, there's no construction right in front of the line proposed.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the amendment to add effective year to 2022? All those in favor? I see 11 hands. I see 10 hands. All's opposed? One opposed. See, the matter carries. On the order, any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption, Councilor Dribble.
Thank you, Madam President. If that was a motion by the Ward 4 councilor, I'd like to second that no fees be increased this calendar year. I believe that was his motion, but he didn't frame it in the fashion of a motion.
We just did that.
Councilor, the amendment was to make the increase fee effective next year. So
Okay,
that was the amendment.
So there will be no fees across the board for this year, Madam President, right?
No changes in fees
Right,
this
thank you
year.
very much.
On adoption of the order, any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? I see 11, I see 10 hands, all's opposed. I see one hand, the matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy. Councilor McCarthy?
Yep, I'm sorry. In the year 2021, an ordinance relative to traffic being ordained by the City Council, City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Article 51, Article 5 shall be amended by repealing the following: Ford Avenue parking prohibited on certain streets from Bayview Avenue to Island Road, southerly side. Section 2, Section 51 of Article 5 shall be further amended by adding the following: Memorial Drive prohibited parking on certain streets southwesterly side between Restaurant Row and Ford Avenue. Section 51B of Article 5 shall be amended by repealing the following: Ford Avenue parking prohibited certain times on certain streets both sides between Memorial Drive and Columbus Avenue. 2-hour parking. Ford Avenue parking prohibited certain times on certain streets southerly side at the intersection of Bayview and running easterly direction for a distance of 590 feet for 15-minute parking. Section 56, Article 5 shall be amended as the following: Ford Avenue parking meter zones established southwesterly side beginning at Bayview Avenue for a distance of 590 feet. 2-hour parking April 1st, October 31st, Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Section 75 of Article 5-A shall be amended by repealing the following: Ford Avenue parking prohibitions, tow zone, resident sticker, zone A, color blue in the northerly direction from Columbus Avenue to Bayview Avenue, resident sticker parking tow zone, and repealing and replacing it with Ford Avenue parking prohibitions, tow zone, resident sticker, zone A, color blue from Columbus Ave to Bayview Ave, southerly side, resident sticking parking tow zone. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter, and I move for adoption first passage by roll call vote.
Councilor McCarthy moves for adoption for first passage by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is what I was talking about earlier. The other than the change in fee that they were was coming from the Parking and Traffic Commission and the Park and Rec Commission, this is all just to cross all the T's and dot all the I's with regards to all the other parking that's going on in and around the Willows, except for what's going on in the park itself. The parking in the Park and Rec Commission met, their last two meetings took up these issues when they were looking at their quote-unquote Hill project and came up with their own plan for their parking in on their dedicated parkland. This is just for the city streets in and around the park to make sure that what we're seeing out there, what's happening, is actually backed by the correct ordinance and the correct language in order for that to happen. And as stated earlier, the only changes would be some of the meters in front of some of the businesses will be removed and replaced with 15-minute parking zones to allow for people to drive up quickly and grab takeout and then leave.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Preznowski,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hepworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes, on adoption of the ordinance for first passage, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative, and matter carries. Further orders, motions, orders, and resolutions, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a late file. Ordered that the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet with the Engineering Department, representatives from National Grid Gas, National Grid Electric, Comcast, and Verizon, and any other utility company that regularly opens the public ways to discuss enforcement and possible updates to ordinances and department policies regarding utility maintenance and service delivery, specifically proper patching, permits, and timely public notification for all work done by the company and or by their contractors, and any other issues that the committee and the engineering department deem important. Thank you.
They move for adoption?
It's a late file. I think it has to go to committee.
Right. On acceptance of the late file, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Committee reports, any further motions, orders, and resolutions? Seeing none, committee reports, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. Let me find the right one here. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of ordinance amending short-term rentals, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of a report, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all opposed? Seeing none, the matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. So we met tonight to discuss the two changes. One is to clarify the language on primary residence, and then the other was to disallow short-term rentals in ADUs. And there were still some questions about allowing short-term rentals in the primary or the ADU. So it's remaining in committee while we work out some questions by Amanda Chiancola and by the city solicitor.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all opposed, matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of gender-neutral language ordinance, has considered said matter and would recommend approval as amended for second and final passage.
On acceptance of report, all those in favor? Please see 11 hands, all opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. So there were two amendments that were made. The first was to add language to allow the committee that updates our ordinances to go ahead and make anything further that comes in anytime in the future to follow the gender neutral language patterns that we've set up. And so that was brought in by the city solicitor and that was adopted. The second amendment was to continue to use the term manhole cover and not change that name to maintenance hole cover. And the thought there was that it would be confusing because manhole cover has a definition, and public safety officials may be confused if it's called something else. So that was recommended.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. And I think I speak for most of the committee members in OLA when we're in general consensus agreement that this should move forward, the gender neutral language should move forward, and even the spirit of trying to keep public safety members safe and trying to make sure that we don't confuse folks. But I would challenge my colleagues on, and I don't want to, it's not my intention to get into a large discussion around the word manhole, but I would challenge my colleagues on the spirit of what we're doing here, not confusing what we're doing here. We're just updating the ordinances to make this gender neutral across the board. We're not specifying what language public safety officials can use or what language anyone can use when talking about whatever they're talking about. So I would just I don't know that I want the headline on this in the Salem News to say we did gender neutral language in City Council except for the word manhole. I don't think that was the spirit of this, and there was some concerns I think around legal ramifications if there was a lawsuit that happened. The city solicitor said this would not be, from her perspective, this would not be an issue for the city. So I think it's clear to continue just to sort of do it as we said. So I'd like to make a motion. Let me just find the section 46-197 is amended by replacing manholes with maintenance holes, commonly in parentheses, commonly referred to as manholes. I would just make a motion to put that back in.
Councillor Hapworth moves to strike the amendment under section 46-196 relative to manholes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Riccardi. Under discussion. Councillor Persinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam President, part of the discussion centered around the word, not because of its gender, and I don't think that anybody in committee was looking at it from a gender definition of it. It was more of a public safety definition of the word, because when you're talking about a maintenance hole, that's a general term. That could be any hole in the street, be it a sewer cover, a drainage ditch, a water utility access, gas utility access. The word manhole specifies exactly what it is, the round cover where people can access utilities underground. And from my own personal experience, when we've had these in the past, we've had explosions in manholes downtown. The officers, when they're responding to and I'm sure fire is the same thing, they know what they're looking for. When there's a manhole explosion, it's not a maintenance cover or a utility cover. They're looking for the manhole. They usually know when the street is mentioned exactly which manhole goes to which utility and which it may be. So it really didn't have anything to do with the gender part of it, more than it was the definition and narrowing it down for public safety purposes. Maintenance cover is a maintenance cover. That just is a very broad term, and I thought that out of safety's sake, it should remain manhole cover just for that reason. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I couldn't agree more with the good at-large Councilor Rozuski. I can tell you firsthand, I've responded to many of these calls for either smoke coming from a manhole cover. We've had explosions, and I can tell you, if you go into something like this at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m, you don't want to hear maintenance cover. It's going to mess people up going there. You could start looking for a water cap cover, a gas cover, a sewer cover. It's got to stay manhole cover. just because we would adopt this in Salem, you're going to have National Grid coming in from all over the state, and it's going to be very difficult for them to. It's completely ridiculous to change that name. I'm telling you, as perspective, coming from a public safety worker for almost 29 years. Please, don't do this. You're going to make our job harder, and you're going to make it more dangerous. And I'm telling you from my point of view. Thank you.
Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. I just had two clarification questions. I hear the public safety aspect of this, and I want to make sure that what we are changing here is not any public safety protocols or ways that they would refer to this. We're not changing that. And the other point that I want to clarify, because I was trying to find my documentation, and I've heard it read out loud, but the actual verbiage change that's being requested is replacing manhole with maintenance hole, commonly referred to as manhole. So the way I read it, the word manhole will still be utilized. So if there's any confusion, that word is still there. So it's not like we're completely removing the word. So therefore, in my mind, if there's any confusion, we basically cover both bases. And I agree on the safety issue, and I feel like it's covered because we are still noting the term commonly referred to as manhole. So I kind of don't see it as I see it as kind of a silly thing to keep talking about since we have it covered on both sides. Thank you.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I see this for what it's worth as the way the term is referred to within our code of ordinances has nothing to do with public safety procedures or public safety policies or how a utility company or our public safety departments would be referring to these in practice or in their own documentation. This is simply how they're referred to within a couple of obscure sections of our city ordinances. So in that sense, I have no problem with restoring the original language, and I support it. If the way this was written in our ordinances had any bearing on public safety procedures themselves, then I would not be, I wouldn't go and support it in such a case like that. But this is just how it's referred to within our book of ordinances, and not this doesn't affect how a call on the radio will go. This doesn't affect how police or fire or utilities will deal with it. So in that sense, I don't have any problem with keeping the language that we had there. It's still going to be a manhole. People are going to refer to it as a manhole. I'm 55 years old. It's going to be pretty tough. It would be pretty tough for me to ever shift my brain to think of it as anything else. But there are differences between manholes and utility entrances and all the like. I completely agree with that. It's just I have no problem with the language because it's so limited in such a limited place and doesn't affect things going forward. So I'm fine with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further, Councilor Hapworth.
I haven't spoken yet.
I think Councilor Sargent had his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Councilor Sargent. The
Thank you,
squares move around and I can't keep track. Councilor Sargent.
Well, thank you, Madam President. Well, I think it's important to keep our ordinances consistent with the terminology. It doesn't make sense to acknowledge that it is what it is on the street, but it's going to be something different in our ordinance book. And if it's going to be worded as commonly referred to as manhole, if we commonly refer to them as manhole, then let's just refer to them as manhole in our ordinance. And mine is just keeping everything consistent right down the line so that, and I do believe it has a bearing on public safety also. Terminology has a lot of meaning. I mean, I've been OSHA certified in confined space entry for 40 years, gone through classes, spent time in manholes, spent time in confined spaces, places that can get you very claustrophobic. And I've seen people injured in them, seen people have to respond to them, seen some things that I won't really talk about in city council, but it's important for people to know where they're going, and that our ordinances line up with that same terminology. And, things like this, a minute or two can matter in life or death. And I believe it's disingenuous to word it one way in our ordinance, knowing that we refer to it as something else out on the street. We wouldn't do that with anything else. Everything else in our ordinance is worded the way it is in real life. So I would ask people to just consider keeping this all consistent. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Duvall.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm amazed that we're spending this much time on this. We heard from our council at large, who was 40-something years on the police department, and from our Ward 4 councilor, who is an active fireman here in Salem. We've heard reasons why this should stay as it is. I reviewed the entire list, and I had no problem at all with the hundreds and hundreds of changes in our ordinances across the board. On this one here, I'd have to side with the common sense of our emergency crews and vote that this not be changed and leave it the way it is. When you look at our existing city plans, our surveys, basically all the plans that our electrical department would use, our public works, our fire department, our police, et cetera, all city crews, and our contractors and suppliers, National Grid, et cetera, on every single plan, it says manhole. Let's don't confuse the issue in case of emergency, and let's revisit this in 5 years or 10 years. If the name changes in other communities and within the industry, yes, let's change it in Salem as well. But for the sake of safety reasoning, let's apply common sense. Let's keep it the way it is and make the other hundreds of changes that we're not discussing here tonight that should be changed. Thank you, Madam President. So I'll be voting in favor of this whole ordinance, but to keep the word manhole in our ordinance until such time as manhole is commonly not referred to any longer. Thank you, Madam President.
The motion on the floor is Councilor Hapler's motion to strike the amendment for section 46-196. Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I did just want to add one other thing. If the other councilors aren't aware, whenever we have a big incident in Salem, whether it be a working fire or our companies are tied up, we have mutual aid that comes in and covers the city. And I can tell you right now, if we have companies coming in from Lynn, Danvers, Peabody, Marblehead, they have to respond to our calls when we're at the fire. I'm pleading with you. This is going to make it more difficult for them as well. And it is in our jobs, seconds make a big difference between life and death. You're making a drastic mistake to do this, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. And I completely agree with Councilor Flynn. I completely agree with Councilor Prosnewski, and mostly agree with Councilor Sargent. I think that we're mostly in agreement here around these. This is not impacting the way anybody speaks about these. This is not requiring anyone to say maintenance cover. This is our code of ordinances, and changing, cherry picking things that we want to change within this is sending a message that adopting gender neutral language could potentially have safety implications, and it's not with this. I do agree. If this were requiring Salem Fire to say maintenance cover and it was putting people in danger, I would absolutely not support this. But this is not doing that. This is the code of ordinances that we're updating right now, and it does say manhole in it. And I also agree that it's foolish that we're still speaking about this right now. But I do want to do this right and do this right the first time. Thank you.
Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. So while we've been discussing this, I did a search on the ordinances to find the exact language as opposed to just a list of the placements. And I really don't understand why this discussion is happening. There is nothing in our ordinances that tells the police department or the fire department how to send out any calls at all. This is all wording about getting permits, about measuring. It has nothing to do with how other departments in the city refer to these. And if I could understand, Counselor Flynn, if I could understand more how this change would affect the day-to-day operations of the police department and the fire department, then I would fully 100% support your argument. I just can't in this understand how it would have any impact on the day-to-day operations in the fire department or the police department. But I am definitely willing to hear an argument on that. But I agree that just to keep this gender neutral language consistent, it should not be referred to as manhole cover anymore. And to Councillor Dibble's point, other communities are doing this. We are not the first ones to jump onto this change in gender neutral language. This is the wave. This communities are taking this up and passing this, including manhole covers and changing that to maintenance hole covers. That's how we came up with this term, is because that's what other communities are doing. So thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. The motion on the floor is to strike the amendment. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands raised, all's opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The amendment does not carry. On adoption of the recommendation. Any further discussion? Seeing none, adoption of the recommendation, all is in favor? As amended? All is in favor?
Roll call vote.
This is second and final.
Second and final, so roll call vote.
Oh, sorry. Adoption of the recommendation, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll for second and final passage. Thank you for correcting me.
Councillor Torrio.
Yes.
Councillor Sargent.
Yes.
Councillor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councillor Presnowski.
Yes.
Councillor Marcillo.
Yes.
Councillor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councillor Hapworth.
Yes.
Councillor Flynn.
Yes.
Councillor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councillor Dibble.
Yes.
Councillor Madore.
Yes. On second final passage of amending ordinance to use gender neutral language, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none in negative, the mayor carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of amending resident sticker parking program, has considered said matter and would recommend the matter remain in committee.
On the substance of the report, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all is opposed, see none, the matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a really great discussion a few weeks ago now, and the conversation was really focused on keeping the resident parking permit the same, so that you can apply for a permit sticker and you can get one. There would be no limitations, but instead to focus on tightening the language around guest parking permits, and so tightening the language and enforcing it. So making changes to better enforce the guest passes. So we will be meeting again next Thursday to continue the conversation with some edits from the Traffic and Parking Department that will focus more on limiting the number of days that you can use a guest pass, and in addition, some other changes so that you would have to apply for both a resident sticker parking permit and a guest pass yearly instead of every 2 years, in order to keep things I guess up to date, so that there's not a lot of extra permits running around in Salem. I guess that's the best way to put it. And in addition, the committee suggested that the Traffic and Parking Department take a better look at the zones themselves and tighten those up, instead of making them based on wards, make them based on neighborhoods, which actually makes sense for parking purposes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? I see 10 hands. 11 hands, all opposed, seeing none. The matter remains in committee. Further committee reports, we are on page 19. Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Community and Economic Development co-posted the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of meeting with the SRA to discuss updates on the courthouse and the Crescent Lot, has considered and said matter, and will recommend the update be received and filed.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, the matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, Councilor Dominguez.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. We had a very productive meeting, and I think that was very informative with the SRA and the people who represent. And I think that was very, very productive, like I said before. And that's why we receive and keep it on file so we can adopt it and had informed on this great opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I've spoken up with this at one of the meetings so far. There hasn't been a whole lot of meetings on this yet. But the loss of 80 public parking spaces in the Crescent Lot is something that I don't think should be happening. The potential loss of even more spaces within the MBTA garage, where the developer is working out those details now with the MBTA, that's out of our hands. So that'll be more spaces lost to the public if the MBTA goes along with that. Couple that with the construction of 129 new units of residential units, all without any parking at all. I got to ask the boards, if they approve this, where will all these additional 200 to 250 cars or whatever number you want to put on it, where will they all park? There's no parking at all being provided on the Crescent Lot development. Separately, on a separate issue, I'm concerned with the, and we didn't talk about this at this meeting because I think it was a little bit unfair to the developer who was present, was on the dollar amount on the bid and how this developer was selected over another bid and how much they're giving back to the city and how much it's costing the city in all the different categories across the board. So I have asked for the city planner to provide us with an update on the comparison of the two different bids for this project so that we can just understand why this bidder was selected when another bidder was offering, it looked like a much better financial package to the city of Salem. So parking and dollar amounts, hopefully have those answers soon. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Communication with city officials, none. Petitions.
We have a petition from National Grid to install conduits on First Street.
Hearing ordered May 27, 2021. Further petitions.
We have the following list of applications for public guides, taxi operators, and vehicle for hire operators only.
Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these be granted.
Councilor Marcello moves that these be granted. All those in favor? See 11 hands. All those opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Further petitions.
We have one CWARM application.
Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Marcello moves that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All those opposed, seeing none, the carries. Further petitions.
We have two claims.
Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Marcello moves that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All those opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Further petitions.
We have one constable bond.
Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I refer this to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and return approved.
Councilor Marcelo moves to refer the matter to committee on ordinances, licensing, bill fairs, and return approved. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All those opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Unfinished business.
We have the unfinished business of the second passage of an ordinance to amend ADUs.
Councilor Marcelo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption for second passage by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcelo moves for adoption for second and final passage by roll call vote. Under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I have a nice echo happening on this end, so I apologize. When we look at this, and you all know my opinion of the ADU, we've been talking about it for 3 years, and it's about to pass. I'd like to reach out and make this a little bit stronger right now, and not to hurt it or not to weaken it at all, just to clarify on 2 issues. And so I'm going to be making what I think is very reasonable motions here tonight that I think the majority, if not all, of the city councils will agree with me. So with that, I'd like to jump to page 27, letter number S, if I may, Madam President.
Letter S. Yep.
Yes, on page 27. Where it
Yeah,
says
go ahead.
short-term rentals. Okay. If a person were to build an affordable accessory dwelling unit and then decide to move into it, they could then turn their primary dwelling unit into a short-term rental. So with that, I'd like to recommend, or actually, I'd like to move that the ordinance read that at the end of letter S, where it says in the accessory dwelling unit, that should read affordable accessory dwelling unit, comma, and prohibited in the principal dwelling unit, period. So if we add a few sentences there, then we're absolutely creating affordable dwelling units and not creating hotel rooms. That's my first of 2 motions. That's a really straightforward one, Madam President. So all of that is contained within letter S, and if you'd like, I can read the entire motion as one sentence.
It's okay, I got it. Councilor Dibble moves to amend. Just making sure I got the right section. Section 5 requirements, subsection S, short-term rentals, to add affordable accessory dwelling units and prohibit it in the principal dwelling unit. Is there a second?
1 second.
Seconded by Councilor Dominguez. Under discussion, Councilor Turiel.
Yeah, I was actually going to second that. I think that's fine and reasonable as a addition there. We're not looking to encourage short-term rentals, and we are looking to encourage ADUs. So I think that's a reasonable change.
Any further discussion? Councilor Sargent, please assume the chair.
I'm assuming the chair, and I'm calling on the council president from Ward 2, Medora. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will repeat what I said in the OLA committee meeting earlier this evening. If we are proceed to adopt this amendment, then we are in direct conflict with the short-term rental ordinance that we have that gives homeowners the right to create a short-term rental if they currently occupy in it. So there will be a direct conflict where we say, if you create an ADU and live in it, you are not allowed to create a short-term rental in the primary structure, even though this other ordinance says that you can. So this opens up for litigation, and I'm just not comfortable seeing that change. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Thank you. please assume the chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On adoption of the amendment, I'll take a roll call.
One question.
Oh, Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Madam President. Sorry. I'm not opposed to the change in the language, but I also just heard what you said. Did anyone run this by legal?
Councilor McCarthy, this was discussed in OLA this evening, and our city solicitors had recommended that we keep the concern in committee for her to look into it before we adopt anything.
So was her I saw that earlier, but was her recommendation to hold off on second pass? Are we under the time sensitive for second passage, Madam City Clerk? I mean, or are we, I mean, I don't want to, I understand the concern, and I understand what the Ward 7 Council is trying to do, but at the same time, if it's a direct conflict, I mean, why are we passing this for second passage tonight if we don't have a legal answer to the question? I guess that's my question. Because if we, I mean, I see both sides of it. And so but the part is, they also is, as I'm very fond of saying, I didn't go to law school last night, so I can't answer this question as a lawyer. So, and I knew from earlier that the matter was being held in committee. So if it's not time sensitive, it's just difficult because I never tend to vote in conflict with what the city solicitor says because she represents us legally. I'll defer to somebody else.
Madam City Clerk?
I was just going to answer Council McCarthy. Second passage has to be done by July 19th.
Councilor Sargent?
Thank you, Madam President. If you refer to the last paragraph before the word definitions, as with many of our city ordinances, the severability, all the clauses of this ordinance are distinct and severable, and if any clause shall be deemed illegal, void, or unenforceable, it shall not affect the validity, legality, or enforceability of any other clause or portion of this bylaw. I believe that covers us there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On the amendment, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Madam President?
Oh.
I'm just recusing myself from this vote because it's including short-term rentals.
Okay, Councilor Hapworth has recused himself. Councilor Marcello?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm trying to sort this stuff out in my head right here. If we pass this tonight without an amendment to S, all that says is that there is no short-term rental allowed in an ADU. And then the question that's still in OLA is how we're handling a short-term rental in the principal unit. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out if it's okay to pass this as it stands, and if OLA changes the short-term rental ordinance to say that it's not allowed in either unit, then this will still definitely hold, right? And the short-term rental will pick up the primary unit, but we could also amend S at that point to say that it's not allowed in either. Does that make sense?
No.
Doesn't make sense to Councilor Sargent. Councilor Churio?
Sorry, I was thinking out loud.
Thank you, Madam President. So as this stands, because this part that we're passing here is a zoning ordinance, so that requires a whole separate process for passage with public hearing and referral to planning board and referral back to us. So if we're going to change anything within this outside of this process we're doing right now, it would require a new process, a whole new public hearings process. If we're doing, and then we have our separate zoning code changes that we made regarding short-term rentals a couple of years ago, but we also have some supporting ordinances that don't require anything more than first and second passage. So I guess what you have in your committee right now, and what the Ward 3 councilor has in her committee at the moment, is a separate ordinance having to do with modifying short-term rental regulations. So, I mean, I am supportive of explicitly stating here that they would not be allowed in the primary or the accessory unit. I have no problem with that. I think a homeowner would have to make a choice as to whether they wanted the home to be a short-term rental within the regulations that we have, or whether they wanted to live in it and have an ADU. And I would, that would be a choice they'd have to make if we were to prohibit ADUs in either one of the residences. I think that would be fine. But if we can cover it by through an ordinance change instead, by changing short-term rental regulations to say that the primary dwelling of an ADU cannot be a short-term rental, then would be, I think, legally an acceptable way for us to do it as well. So either way should work. One way of doing it is still in committee. One way is here and could be set in stone with zoning if we so choose. So if there's a question, then we could punt on this to the next meeting and make sure we have everything resolved, or we could do it here, or we could wait on your committee. I would leave it to Madam President and our OLA chair to kind of decide how they would like to tackle this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. So how do we just put off this vote until the next meeting? I think that makes sense. I think everybody will be happy if we can decide all of the legalities through the OLA committee.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Currently, there's a motion on the floor. Someone would have to. It came in under unfinished business, so someone would have to move to withdraw the motion and then hold it over until the next meeting. Whichever way you want to do that, but I get. My second question, my follow-up question would be to Councilor Dibble. He said he had two proposals, and if another one's a legal question, I'd really like to hear it, so we're not back here 2 weeks from now trying to bat something else around, trying to figure it out legally if it's going to be a legal question.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to thank the Ward 1 councilor for bringing that up, that I do indeed have a second one, and it's similar to the first, but I'd like to first thank the Ward 5 councilor for his support on this. It's clear in letter S, in this ordinance, we talk about accessory dwelling units, and therefore we should talk in the same sentence about the principal dwelling unit as well. So the second issue that I had, and I was going to make a motion, and I'll actually make the motion now, so it's on the table. Within the document, a little history real fast. Within the document, it talks about if the owner resides in the accessory dwelling unit, the accessory dwelling unit needs to comply with being 30% or below the U.S. Department of HUD, Housing and Urban Development, fair market rent limit for Salem. That's pertaining to the accessory dwelling unit. So if let's say a single family homeowner chooses to build an ADU, which is great, let them build it. When they rent out that ADU, it needs to be rented at 30% or lower of the HUD fair market rent for Salem. Well, what happens if the owner decides to move into that ADU, and then the principal dwelling unit can be rented out for whatever, because this ordinance does not specify what it is. This ordinance does specify, however, that these ADUs are being created to increase the affordable rental unit housing stock in Salem. And it goes on to talk about the reasons for creating the more affordable units. But by having this loophole in here, we could be creating several, allowing several ADUs to be built, an additional unit on a property, but not creating any affordable units. So therefore, I believe this ordinance should say not only should the ADU meet the 30% or below, but the principal dwelling unit should as well. So, Madam President, if I may continue that, so those two issues, if we can put it back into committee and have a discussion on that with legal expertise from our city solicitor and from our planning department, so that those two matters can be addressed. I'll move that the matter be remanded back to committee so that those two issues and any others that are raised here tonight can be heard and addressed fully. Thank you, Madam President.
The motion on the floor is to amend subsection S to prohibit short-term rental in a principal dwelling unit, seconded by Councilor Dominguez. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Would the Ward 7 councilor prefer to withdraw his motion for the moment and make his motion that it be remanded to committee, or that, and I would prefer that we simply withdraw that for the moment and carry it to the next meeting so that we can have the question answered.
Councilor DeVoe.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd be happy to withdraw both of my motions on those two matters, to have the matter be remanded back to committee and be heard at our next meeting for a final vote on this after those two issues are fully addressed from a legal standpoint from our city solicitor in committee. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor DeVoe withdraws his motion to amend subsection S and moves to refer the matter for second passage back to the Committee on Ordinances, License, Legal Affairs.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Prosnewski. Under discussion, Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a couple of long meetings on this particular ordinance, and I am not willing to send this back to committee. I am willing to discuss the short-term rental ordinance that is already in committee. I have no intention of sending this back to committee. We have had plenty of time to discuss all the ins and outs of this, and we talked about the fact that this is creating affordable units for renters, for homeowners. If the homeowner chooses to move into the ADU and then rent out their home, I'm not sure why everyone assumes that these homeowners are going to be charging their renters on either side exorbitant prices. Homeowners right now of 2 and 3 family homes are the ones that are creating the naturally affordable units in Salem. Because I'm one, we are not commercial landlords. We are not looking for the highest bid in any unit. I'm sorry, I'm getting very frustrated right now because I don't want to see this go back to committee because I feel like we're stalling right now, and I am not in favor of this. Thank you.
The motion on the floor is to refer the matter back to committee. And seconded by Councilor Prosnewski. Any further discussion? Councilor Cho, you had your hand up earlier.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Sorry. Yeah, I absolutely do not support a return of this matter to committee. I have no problem with us waiting 2 weeks to take the final vote on it in order for the Ward 7 councilor to get legal answers that the city solicitor can share with us on, in particular, on the first motion that he had brought forward. And should the city solicitor find that that is fine and not in conflict with anything, I will absolutely support that motion. I will not support any motion to force a particular rental rate on an entire house. Should the homeowner choose to move into the ADU and rent their house, then that's their prerogative, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So with that said, to me, there's only one relevant question that needs to be answered by the city solicitor, and I have no problem at all with waiting 2 weeks to get that answer. but I will not support a move back to committee.
Councilor Prosinski.
Thank you, Madam President. So my question, and it's the question of a rookie councilman, is if we're to discuss this amongst ourselves, because I think Councilor Dibble has brought up an important issue that should be at least discussed. What's our arena? What's our platform to discuss this if it's not in committee?
So, Councilor, to answer your question, I just want to clarify this or I guess reiterate what Councilor Terrio had stated earlier. There are two matters that are before us. One is currently in OLA. The other is the second and final passage of the ordinance. The matter in OLA is related to allowing ADUs or prohibiting them in the primary dwelling. That remains in committee, and that could be done through an order and not a zoning ordinance. What's before us currently is a zoning ordinance, and we could either make the amendment. If the will of body is to make the amendment at the next meeting, that can be done. And I have allowed all of you to speak more than twice on this matter because I recognize how important it is. So if that's the will, to get back to the city solicitor on this issue about allowing ADUs and principal dwelling units, and then come back to the meeting in 2 weeks to make the amendment or not, we can do that as well. So there are two options before us that can get us the same result. But as it stands, the ordinance does prohibit short-term rentals in accessory dwelling units if adopted tonight.
Thank
Does
you
that
for
answer your question?
explanation. Thank you for that explanation. It does. I just wanted, and I am for moving this along quickly. I don't want to see it stall. We spent a long time, even before my time, on this, and I agree. This is something that has to be moved along. And if this is the best way to do it, and still correct the issues that Councilor Dibble brought forward, then I'm for that. Thank you.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to refer the matter back to the Committee on Ordinances, Licensing and Legal Affairs, seconded by Councilor Prosinski. All those in favor?
I'll do a roll call, Madam President.
We'll do a roll call. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Just for clarification, is that OLA or OLA co-posted?
OLA co-posted, thank you.
Okay. Councilor Torrio?
No.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
No.
Councilor Prosinski?
No.
Councilor Marcillo?
No.
Councilor McCarthy?
No.
Councilor Hapworth?
No.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
And Councilor Madore?
No. On referring the matter back to Committee on Ordinances, Licensing and Legal Affairs, co-posted, we have 11 councilors voting, 4 in the affirmative, 6 in the negative. The matter does not carry. On the second and final passage.
Yeah.
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, I just want to be clear, we're not going to wait 2 weeks from now to get an opinion on anything. We're going to do second and final passage right now.
I'm waiting for that motion. I thought you were going to make that motion.
No, I wasn't. Because if it doesn't go back to committee and we'll wait 2 weeks, Councilor Dibble could get an opinion, or anybody who wants to make a change can go forward and get a legal opinion from the city solicitor. And also keep it in mind that even if we make a change that's deemed illegal under that severability clause, it doesn't change the rest of the ordinance. So any change, even the ones Councilor Dibble proposed tonight, even if we vote yes on them and they're deemed to be illegal, they get stricken and everything else remains part of the ordinance. So. So that should give us plenty of leeway. So thank you.
So, Council Sergeant, are you making a motion to refer this to the next meeting on May 27th?
No, I'll leave that to somebody else. I'm not, whatever happens as far as I go tonight. I wish I think we have to put it back and see what Councilor Dibble has to say.
Councilor Chorio?
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we lay this on the table.
Councilor Chorio moves to lay this on the table.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilor Dibble.
Which
No
is
further
non-debatable,
discussion.
so.
No further discussion. The matter is laid on the table.
We do have to vote on it, Madam President.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Sorry. Whew. All right. Councilor Chorio moves to lay the matter on the table, seconded by Councilor Dibble. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the motion to refer the matter on, to lay the matter on the table, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter is laid on the table. Further unfinished business. Councilor Marcelo. Oh, sorry. Unfinished business. Councilor Marcelo.
The three traffic ordinances, and I move for adoption for second passage by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcelo moves for adoption for second and final passage by roll call vote. Any discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion. On Councilor Marcelo's motion to adopt the three traffic ordinances for second and final passage by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On adoption of second and final passage of the three traffic ordinances, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Anything else? Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. Point of personal privilege, please.
Councilor Chorio requests a point of personal privilege. Seeing no objection, Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to remind everybody who's watching this that Salem has done a pretty good job of getting its citizens vaccinated. At this point, as of today, I believe 54% of Salem residents have received at least a first vaccine, and close to that number have gone through both shots. But just to make sure people are aware, you can now get vaccinated at CVS and Walgreens without as a walk-in. The city of Salem is, in conjunction with other regional health boards of health, holding a vaccination clinic on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Salem State. And this Saturday, we are holding one at Saltonstall School that is focused on kids of school age that in the age 12 and up group that is now eligible. And you can get more information about that at salem.com/vaccine. And just to, reinforce that, this last year, I mean, I'm sure it's entertaining to people watching this on Zoom, but the way we get out of this and the way we all get back in the chamber is for everybody to get your shots. And, it's a good thing for us all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I could I have a personal privilege.
Councilor McCarthy asked for a point of personal privilege. Seeing no objection, Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to take, if we would take a brief moment of silence for the father of the mayor's chief secretary, Leo. I had the pleasure, I shouldn't say that. I attended his funeral as did many other city employees. Leo was a longtime city employee, and he's Jennifer's his baby, and anyone who was at the event, she gave a wonderful speech about her father, and he was a wonderful man. And I also want to take the time to recognize Rachel Zoll, who left us way too early. So if we could just take a moment of personal privilege to recognize two people who have served the city and represented the city well over the years, and left us in this past couple of weeks.
Thank you. A moment of silence for Leo Perrone and Rachel Zoll. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a moment to reinforce my apology to Councilor Masillo for thinking out loud there for a moment. And let her know she's doing a great job as chairman of the Legal Affairs. I mean that sincerely. And with that, I call for adjournment.
Councilor Sargent moves for adjournment. All is in favor? See 11 hands. All is opposed. We are adjourned. Good night, everybody.
Good night.